in all likelihood, I would have not made that team. So how would that have changed my life? What you learn on the playing fields, and our daughter was a Division I athlete too, and she got my husband's height, so she played volleyball. What would I have missed? I'd have missed the concept of teamwork that we work on every day here. I'd have missed how to win, how to lose. I'd have missed how to be a leader, how to be a captain, how to speak up for yourself. I would have missed things like etiquette on the court and learning how to be strategic. All of the things that sports give anybody who plays, and the joy that comes from it is just, I think, sometimes inexplicable. And some of my best friends are the people that I've met through my life playing all different kinds of sports. And so I would say the fact that not one Democrat voted for this is inexplicable. It's taking away the joy of many women and girls who play sports all across this country. And we need more and more girls and women playing. So I would hope that they would rethink their positions, look at the fairness aspect of this, and say to themselves, now I have 4 granddaughters. Hopefully one of them will be on a playing field that I can watch her excel, or at least have a good time with all her friends. Thank you all so much.
Questions for Senators Tuberville or Capito? Okay.
Do you support the President's decision to pause military aid to Ukraine, and how long should that pause go on for?
Well, it's a pause, importantly, not a stop, and I think it's a part of a negotiation. And I'm hopeful that in the end we'll get folks to the table and be able to negotiate a deal that will bring a peaceful resolution to this 3 years long conflict, and one hopefully that will respect the sovereignty of the Ukrainian people and make the world more safe.
The prices are going up for lumber, cars, corn. Your farmers in South Dakota certainly rely a lot on the agriculture there to export and import. And so are these tariffs smart for your constituents who are already hurting from high prices?
I think these tariffs are oriented around a specific objective. In this case, to reduce the amount of fentanyl coming into this country across our northern and southern borders. And so these tariffs, I think, are hopefully temporary. Obviously, I come from a state that is our #1 industry is agriculture, so we care a lot about being able to export. A lot of our product in South Dakota hits the export market, and so trade is an important part of our economy in our state. So I pay a lot of attention to it. This is clear to me something where the President, who, by the way, has used this tool in the past to get a specific outcome, is trying to achieve that again. And in this case, it's to reduce the amount of fentanyl flowing into this country across our northern and southern borders.
These are not temporary. These are long-term. If prices continue to go up, will you stand by the President through and through on this?
Well, what I'm willing to do is give the President some latitude to try and accomplish the objective he seeks to get done here. I think, as you know, I'm a different place on tariffs probably than some of my colleagues, and certainly maybe the administration. But at the end of the day, it's really about trying to achieve the desired result, which, as I said, is very clear in what the President's trying to get done here. And hopefully, when it's all said and done, this won't be something that will create a lot of disruption to the markets in states like mine, South Dakota, where we very much are dependent upon agriculture. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Julie, are you saying Stuart?
Hey.
Yeah, I was just on my
Oh, wait. I mean, there's too much to look for.
Okay.
Thank you.
Unless you like it like that.
I do.
I thought maybe you did.
No one said anything until Burgess. Thank you, Burgess. I have one friend. What were you going to ask? CR? Huh? Good question. You should just scream it out.
He wasn't going to give you a right straight answer. He wasn't going to really respond.
Heads up, folks.
You gotta move Tupper. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm proud to be joined by Senators Durbin, Klobuchar, and Booker's on his way. Now, tonight, Donald Trump will address the nation in a joint session of Congress. But the American people already know what to expect: a deluge of mistruths and falsehoods. We know what Donald Trump won't do. He seems incapable of doing: being straight with the American people about the mess he's created in his short time in office. I can't think of another new president who's created more chaos, hurt more people, and created more of a mess than Donald Trump. What can Donald Trump say that the American people can take seriously? Well, he has nothing to brag about. He's already made a mess of our country. In 1 month, inflation has gone up. In 1 month, unemployment has gone up. In 1 month, grocery prices, housing costs, measles cases, Vladimir, we're adding a new one. Sewage in your water is going up after the Supreme Court decision with EPA this afternoon. They're all up. That's not what the American people asked for. This is the president who said he'd start lowering costs on day one, and he sure as heck hasn't done that. By the way, another thing that he's just done is start a trade war with Canada and Mexico. I have never seen such an important policy that affects so many people and their costs come into effect with so little thought, so little analysis. It's amazing. Huge industries in every state are going to be hurt. It is now estimated that the average American family in 1 year will pay $2,700 more because of the Trump tariffs. And they don't even know what the heck they're doing. He gets an idea in his head, he thinks, oh, that's a good idea, without any thinking of the consequences. So after the tariffs, everyday goods are going to become more expensive, from the price of gas and cars to cheese and dairy and everything in between, devastating our farmers, our small businesses, American families. According to the CEO of Target this morning on CNBC, consumers could see these higher prices within a few days. The average household, as I said, $2,700 now. It was $2,000 this morning. They now estimated it would be a little higher. Why is he doing all this? Tax cuts for his billionaire buddies. Tax cuts for his billionaire buddies. Raising American families' costs. Firing people. Just want to mention one, there's so many people, but we're all bringing guests tonight. There's a lady from Buffalo. She served her country valiantly in Iraq, got toxic exposure to burn pits, had serious illnesses in her lungs. They were cured. She's working for the Veterans Administration, helping other veterans. And guess what? She's just told leave. She's not told what she did wrong, why she is inefficient. DOGE shouldn't be Department for Efficiency. It should be Department of Government Cruelty. The way these people are being treated is just nasty. All for tax cuts for billionaires. So, whatever Donald Trump wants to spew tonight will be just that, lies. The pain, the costs, he's not going to talk about those. And he's going to try to delude the American people. We're not going to let him. Senator Durbin.
It's the #1 cancer cause of death among children, neuroblastoma. We know it, we've seen it, we've heard about it. Elizabeth Sokol works at Children's Hospital in Chicago. She's been researching it for 10 years, trying to find ways to bring a cure to this terrible scourge that kills these infants and toddlers. But she hasn't been able to work for the last 7 weeks. Why? Because the Trump administration has basically shut down the National Institutes of Health. The research grants, which they are supposed to award and give on a regular weekly basis, have been suspended while Elon Musk and his chainsaw go through this agency. Who did they go after first? The young researchers who are being brought into NIH in the hopes that this will be something that they want to dedicate their lives to, the next generation of medical researchers. As far as the Trump people and Elon Musk are concerned, they're all just numbers on pages. I can't agree more with what Chuck Schumer just said. This is cruel. It is cruel to these researchers who've given their lives for this purpose. It's cruel to the families who are praying, just praying to God every night that somebody's going to find a cure. That's what's at stake here. This isn't a political victory. This is a human issue, a very human issue. So why cut the people, hundreds, if not thousands of people at the National Institutes of Health, so that we can have more money to give tax breaks to millionaires? That's a disgrace, shameful. Let us focus on the reality and the truth and the values that really brought us together here to serve in public life. Let us make sure that we give people like Elizabeth Sokol, who will be my guest tonight, cancer researcher, the kind of resources she needs to succeed.
Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you. What is the State of the Union? That's a big question today. And I can tell you this, that chaos is up, corruption is up, and costs are up. Just ask anyone in the egg aisle. 25% up wholesale prices of eggs. That's a fact. And by the way, the threats of the tariffs and now the actual tariffs are actually already having their effect. Coffee prices today up 23%, lumber prices up 14%, and these tariffs, once they take the full-fledged effect, once we see the retaliatory tariffs from what were some of our best friends and allies, it's only going to get worse. This is not what people signed up for. I get that people wanted change. I get that they wanted someone to shake things up to work on bringing healthcare costs down and doing something about housing. But they didn't want this. That is not what they wanted. So Democrats are fighting this in the courts and winning so many of these cases. We're fighting this in Congress to hold them accountable, and we're fighting it with our constituents by our sides. And those are the people that I hope you focus on today. Our guests. You heard about some of them today when we were out on the Senate steps. I give you a few more examples. Senator Shaheen is bringing a small business owner who is going to focus on Trump's tariffs and what they have, the effect they're going to have on small businesses. Senator Hickenlooper and Senator Smith are bringing laid-off Forest Service employees. Who lays off Forest Service employees right when we are dealing with everything from the summer season coming upon us? That's what a lot of families do that don't have a lot of money. That's where they go for their vacations. Or why would we lay them off when we're dealing with threats of wildfires right now? Senator Cantwell has brought a researcher from Washington State that I got to talk to last night. Veterans, Senator Gallego, a veteran himself, is bringing a veteran from New Mexico who relies on the VA for the health care. I'm bringing a third-generation farmer from Minnesota. So I hope you join us at 4:15 in the LBJ room, where we're not going to talk for a change. I know that's exciting. We're going to actually have the real people that are affected by Donald Trump and by Elon Musk and by the Republicans who refuse to stand up. All it would take is 3 of them in the House of Representatives or 4 of them in the United States Senate to stand up to all of this, but they're not, and it's important that you hear the real people's stories. Not just the people that is laid off, as bad as that is, and fired, but also the people that are getting affected already, with more to come. Why? They're looking for money. They're looking for money for these $2 trillion of tax cuts for billionaires and wealthy people. They're looking at it by cutting Medicaid. They're looking at it by cutting cancer research. They're looking at it by cutting avian flu workers on the front line. They said that was a mistake, and now they can't rehire all of them back. One of my mentors in politics, Paul Wellstone, who rode his green bus into this town and was quite a character walking around the halls of this Senate. Some of you may remember him. He once said that politics is about improving people's life. What they're doing, and what we're going to hear from President Trump tonight, that's not about improving people's life. That's about good TV, grandstanding, and the Oval Office was one of our best allies, a man who stood up against a dictator. It's about grandstanding in terms of taking on our allies when it comes to tariffs, and it is not helping the American people. That's our case. People are listening. The latest CBS poll, 52% of Americans say that Donald Trump's policies are making grocery prices go up, and only 14% think his policies are making grocery prices go down. That's a number to remember.
Corey.
This is really simple. We live in a country right now where we're seeing prices for groceries going up and people's confidence in this economy going down. This is very simple. We live in a nation right now where the public health threats are going up, from measles outbreaks to the challenge we're having with bird flu, and people's confidence in this president handling those things is going down. This is very simple. We're seeing tariffs going up and people's pension funds and 401ks, the values of them going down. This is very obvious what's happening. We see frustration with this president going up and his approval rating continue to go down. And so tonight we're going to have history happen. The most unpopular president in modern American history, with the exception of the first time he was in office, is going to give a speech to the American people and have zero to report about what he did to address the issues he said he would address in his campaign. He said clearly and unequivocally, on day one, I will drive down the cost of living for Americans. Well, rent is up, eggs are up, and people's confidence and his ability to handle the economy has gone way down. By his own measure, so far, we are going to hear from a president who will stand before the American people, by his own measure, as a failure.
Thank you, Corey. Okay. Yes, Manu.
Can Eric Adams effectively run your city, or should he resign?
I'm not getting involved in the mayoral race.
Are you recommending that Senate Democrats support the clean continuing resolution that Speaker Johnson is putting forward?
Look, here's the bottom line. Republicans are responsible for funding the government. They have all 3 branches. They haven't engaged in discussions with us yet, either me or Hakeem, so we have to wait to see what their plan is. We've always believed the only solution is a bipartisan solution. Nope.
Leader Schumer, your friend Sherrod Brown wrote a long post on Twitter. He wrote the New Republic. The Democratic Party has strayed too far from its New Deal roots, isn't really the party of the workers. He's suggesting maybe a recalibration on trade, talking about problems stemming from NAFTA. Do you think Democrats need to recalibrate position on trade?
The bottom line is, all you have to do is look at Donald Trump's position, and you know that we have to fight it. These tariffs are going to cost huge amounts to the American people. They're not thought out. They're willy-nilly. They're against some of our closest allies and not against people we need. So the trade policies have to be improved because Donald Trump's screwing them up so badly. Yes?
Democrats last year said that it would require
legislation to secure the border after executive action by President Biden and Trump last month's border numbers were down significantly. Was that true? Was legislation necessary?
Well, President Biden's numbers went down the month before as well. They've been down the last few months, and he implemented on his own when we couldn't pass it some of the things we proposed in that bipartisan legislation, which was bipartisan.
Leader Schumer.
Thanks, everybody.
USMCA, if they're going to, we want to negotiate some improvement, like on dairy, like with Canada, or the place to do it is USMCA, negotiate that trade agreement with us, including, I haven't read the chair's speech, but you can make changes to it. And that is something that Donald Trump was proud of when he was president and negotiated that. So that's where you should do that, not these across the board here.
Senator Schumer.